Hi, this is Mark Birch with a quick revision of Macbeth Act 2, Scene 4. This scene essentially provides an opportunity for Shakespeare to explore the universal and profound effects of committing regicide. The great chain of being has been disturbed, and in this first section, the old man's age shows that the terrible nature of this knight's unruly behaviour is profound, even given his vast experience. He's lived for 70, in other words, for 70 years, and yet he hasn't seen anything as dreadful and strange as this. Ross's response can be quite confusing, but the thing to recognise is that he's exploiting the semantic field of the theatre. Thou seest the heavens. Now, the heavens were a theatrical, technical term for the hangings that concealed the stage. We've also got references to act and stage itself here. And what I'd argue is that this conveys the idea of a stage, a small area, a representation of a greater whole, being a microcosm for the repercussions of the knight's actions on the kind of macrocosmic scale. In other words, we've had a small thing happen here, the death of a king, the murder of a king, but its effect, given that it's the murder of a king, in terms of the great chain of being undermined, is global, it's massive, it's universal. So the thing that's being acted out here has global significance. Ross goes on to ask the question about whether nights overpowered day, and if such, then we have the victory of evil over good, or whether the day is actually ashamed to expose the terrible deed that's currently hidden by the darkness, that deed, of course, being the murder of Duncan. And what he gives us is a personified earth buried by darkness, the face of earth entomb. Shakespeare's used these metaphors of life and death in an entirely appropriate way given the context of Duncan's murder. Again, the universal effect of the regicide of the king is evident in the fact that, although it should be daytime, the world is shrouded in night. The unnatural nature of this is made explicit by the old man, and he gives an example of, on Tuesday last, a falcon towering in a pride of place was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed. This is a subversion of the great chain of being. The falcon should be superior to the owl. It certainly shouldn't be hunted by it. And for the audience, this inversion of the natural order will represent the inversion of the natural order in terms of Macbeth having killed Duncan, an aristocratic inferior killing his superior. And finally, Ross echoes the words of the old man by referring to an incident with Duncan's horses. So these are the royal horses, those aristocratic beasts which are the minions of their race. And as such, they could be said to symbolise what happens in terms of the Scottish crown following the murder of Duncan. They did eat each other, turned on one another, in the same way that later on in the play the Thanes turn against Macduff. And what we have here is a description that comes straight from Holinshed's Chronicles, both the description of what happened with the horses, with the falcon, and indeed the eclipse, the world going dark, are all taken as kind of historical facts by Shakespeare and then supplanted in the play. Okay, ta.